This book, man, I'm like 2/3 of the way through, but I think this is going to have like a really interesting impact on my life, this book. It's one of those books you read where your life is different afterwards than if you hadn't read it.
Yeah, 100%.
It's divided into 4 sections. There's 4 like kind of laws of changing your habits. Make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and then the 4th one, make it satisfying. It really like changes the way you think about habits. For example, I'm quite goal-oriented. Like I'm always, when people ask like about New Year's resolutions and stuff, I don't really have anything to say because I'm always creating like resolutions and goals. And I thought that was a good thing because it keeps me kind of moving. But this book actually, it's not like against goals necessarily, but it says what's more important than goals is just turning up every day or every week to do the thing, whatever the thing is, like over and over again, and then the results just speak for themselves. Because if you're like aiming towards a specific goal, once you reach it, it's like, oh well, I got there, you know, what now? And you have to constantly be kind of reframing and stuff like that. And also you're never kind of satisfied. But if you just kind of like fall in love with the process and do like something every day, then it's much I was initially resistant to it because I was like, oh, I like my current way of looking at things, but I'm actually thinking that this is like a good thing. And also it's very interesting because it gives you a bit of confidence because it kind of combats imposter syndrome, because in the old way, my old way of thinking, it's like I can only be X if I have done Y. And once I do Y, then I can allow myself to think of myself as X. Like, you know, once I don't know, once I've worked for like 6 years as a software developer, then I can consider myself a real software developer. But this book is like saying, even every time that you write like a bit of code, then you're a software developer. If you want to write a book, every time you sit down to write, you're a writer. And there's something true about that and really, you know, uplifting.
Exactly. It depends even like who are you comparing yourself to? Like if you compare, of course, yourself to a software engineer that does the job for 10 years, you could say that, you know, I'm not there yet. But if you compare yourself to someone that isn't a job software engineer, then of course, even the few lines of code that you write or you know, the few years that you're already on the field and working, it does make the difference. And one thing that you did mention, and I completely resonate with it when I was reading the book, is the start of the book that says, like, I'm not going to talk about goals, but habits, because there's a huge difference, as you said, like between a goal and a habit. The goal, you reach it, you're done. You think you're done. Whilst with a habit, of course, you make it like almost a life goal, let's say, like it's for life. It's not, I reach it and I'm done. Um, and when I was reading this book, I'm not sure if you've seen this picture that basically says 1 in the power of 365 and then 1.01 in the power of 365. Like even the smallest difference that you do daily, it can get you so far away than if you just stay inactive for 365 days and there's no progress whatsoever in your daily life. So I remember even your videos, like when you were doing the push-ups challenge, like, you know, a few push-ups every day just to improve and get it there. And, you know, just adding a couple push-ups every day, making it more consistent to get where you want yourself to be, like, for example, down the line in a couple years, months, whatever. And of course, the more consistent you can be, the greater the results that you will see.
When you want to make a new habit, it's obviously very hard because you have to procrastinate. Well, you do procrastinate usually, even if it's something you really want. Maybe at the start you have a lot of motivation because you're like, you know, I'm really excited, I'm gonna start this new workout program, and for like a week you might be like super motivated to do it, but then it starts to become a bit of a drag maybe, and you know, it's just like, oh, today I'll just not do it, and then before you know it, you haven't done it in like a week, and then you just forget about it totally. But what he recommends is, and I think it's so true, if you just focus on like the first like 2 minutes of the habit and just only make yourself have any pressure to do like the first 2 minutes of anything, then you can really make it a habit. And it's easy, like it's easier because you put less pressure on yourself. Like you say, you know, I'm only going to do 2 minutes of working out like every day for like 2 weeks. And that sounds like, oh, you know, 2 minutes, that's nothing. Like, but it's way better than 0 minutes. And if you start to just do 2 minutes, eventually you will get used to doing 2 minutes of exercise a day, and then you can increase it to like 4 minutes. Or maybe like some days you'll just be enjoying it so much that you just continue it. I found that really powerful. Like if you just focus on the start of something, the rest of it just kind of can carry on. And that's also an easier way to get a habit into your routine.
Yeah, absolutely. But what I also liked a lot about this book is that it doesn't only focus on forming good habits, but also how to break bad ones. Because I think we are more and more, so constantly, we are drawn towards bad habits. We all have them in our daily lives. Like there's not a single person that doesn't have a negative habit going on in his life. And just how simply it is being put in this book, you know, negating the rules to form a good habit forms the formula to break a bad one. So, you know, make it difficult, make it unsatisfying. All the 4 steps that are basically required to create a good one, to negate a bad one. Which is amazing. It is amazing because once you start breaking bad ones, you create room for more good habits, and it will definitely, like, without making, let's say, good habits, simply breaking your old bad habits is already an improvement in your character.
Yeah, yeah, that's so true. And it also helps you kind of separate your bad habits from you as a person. You know what I mean? Like, because yeah, so often I feel like we identify with our bad habits. Like we think, oh yeah, that's what I'm like, that's who I am, and that's one of my weaknesses. Like there's often like a sense of identification with the bad habit, but this book like makes you think about your bad habits in a way that you're getting some distance from them. We end up doing a lot of things and we have a lot of habits because we are trying to fit into the group, you know? It says that we try to imitate the habits of 3 social groups: the close, which is like friends and family; the many, which is the tribe; and then the powerful, like those people who have like status. And then it finds a way to leverage that in a positive way. Like, so therefore you should put yourself in groups of people that already have the kind of habits that you want, or that are actively trying to develop those kind of habits.